Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a common but often misunderstood trouble code that many GMC V8 owners might encounter. P0174 System Tulin, Bang 2. If you've plugged in your scanner and this code popped up, don't panic. We're going to break down exactly what it means, what causes it, and how you can fix it. So, what is P0174? Let's start with the basics. Your engine's computer, or ECU, is constantly trying to maintain the perfect air-fuel ratio for optimal performance and emissions. This ratio is typically around 14.7 parts of air to 1 part of fuel. The system to lean part of the code means the ECU is detecting too much air or not enough fuel in the exhaust gases. Bang 2 simply tells you which side of your V8 engine has the problem. On most GMC V8 South, Bang 2 is the passenger side of the engine. Think of it this way. Bang 1 is the side with cylinder number 1, and Bang 2 is the opposite side. When your ECU sees this lean condition, it tries to compensate by adding more fuel. It can only add so much, though. When it hits its limit and the lean condition is still present, it triggers the check engine light and stores the P0174 code. You might also see its companion code, P0174, which is for a lean condition on Bang 1. If you have both codes, it often points to a problem affecting the entire engine, not just one side. So, what are the symptoms you might notice besides the check engine light? A lean condition can cause a variety of issues. You might experience a rough idle, engine hesitation, or misfiring, especially under load. You could also notice a loss of power and a decrease in fuel economy because the engine is running efficiently. In some cases, it can even make your engine harder to start. Ignoring this code can lead to more serious problems down the road, like damage to your catalytic converter, which is a very expensive repair. Now for the big question, what causes it? The most common culprit for a P0174 code on these GMC V8 South is a vacuum leak. Air is getting into the engine after the mass airflow sensor. A cracked or disconnected vacuum hose is a frequent offender. Another major one is a leaking intake manifold gasket, creating a significant leak, especially on the V8 engines. A weak fuel pump that isn't delivering enough pressure, clogged fuel injectors on Bang 2, or a dirty fuel filter can all restrict fuel flow and cause a lean condition. It's also possible that the sensors themselves are to blame. A dirty or failing mass airflow sensor, or MAF sensor, can give inaccurate readings to the ECU, causing it to miscalculate the fuel needed. Although less common, a faulty oxygen sensor on Bang 2 could also be sending incorrect data. But usually, a bad O2 sensor will trigger its own specific trouble code. Alright, let's talk about how to diagnose this. The first step, which you've probably already done, is to scan for codes. If you only have P0174, your focus should be on Bang 2. If you have P0171 as well, you're looking for something that affects both banks, like the MAF sensor or a large vacuum leak near the throttle body. A great way to find a vacuum leak is with a smoke test. A smoke machine pumps smoke into the intake system, and you just watch for where it seeps out. This is the most reliable method. If you don't have a smoke machine, you can sometimes find leaks by carefully spraying a small amount of carb cleaner or even just water around the intake manifold gaskets and vacuum hoses while the engine is idling. If the engine RPM changes when you spray a certain spot, you've likely found your leak. Be extremely careful if you're using a flammable substance like carb cleaner. To check your fuel system, you'll need a fuel pressure gauge. Hook it up to the fuel rail and check if the pressure is within the manufacturer's specifications. If the pressure is low, your fuel pump might be on its way out. You can also test your MAF sensor. A simple first step is to clean it with a dedicated MAF sensor cleaner. Never use brake cleaner or carb cleaner on it, as they can damage the delicate sensor. If cleaning doesn't help, you might need to check its voltage readings with a multimeter or a good scan tool to see if it's operating correctly. So, let's say you've found the problem. If it's a cracked vacuum hose, the fix is easy, just replace it. If it's a leaking intake, manifold gasket, that's a more involved job. But it's a very common repair on these engines. If your fuel pressure is low, you're likely looking at a fuel pump replacement, and if your MOF sensor's bad, a new one should solve the problem. After you've completed your repair, be sure to clear the codes and take the truck for a drive to make sure the check engine light stays off. Fixing a P0174 code is all about methodical diagnosis. Start with the most common and easiest things to check, like vacuum leaks, before moving on to more complex components. Hopefully, this guide gives you the confidence to tackle this code yourself and get your GMC running smoothly again. Thanks for watching, everyone. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more DIY repair guides. Drop any questions you have in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.